We look at the numbers, and one of the numbers to look at is at age 34 for Mendez. You know, he's had a lot of fights, and there's some mileage on his legs. So the other thing that we don't see on there is the fact that Akhmedov is a lefty.
And the unified rules for all our fights tonight. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental foul or headbutt causes a fight to end within 4 rounds, it's a no decision. After 4 rounds, they go to the scorecards for a technical decision. Let's get the official introductions from our Hall of Fame ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome to the State Farm Arena here in Atlanta, Georgia, as Premier Boxing Champions presents a big night of action coming your way. At this time, we present a world title eliminator sanctioned by the WBA, the president Gilberto Jesus Mendoza, and the supervisor is Julio Time. Judging at ringside from Nevada, Robert Hoyle. From North Carolina, Barry Lindenman, and from Georgia, Richard Sells. Introducing our third man to the ring, the referee in charge of the action, Brian Stutz. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the WBA Super Lightweight World Title Eliminator. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red trunks with blue and white trim, fighting out of Yonkers, New York by way of San Juan de la Maguana in the Dominican Republic. He weighed in at 139.5 pounds. A former Dominican Olympian, his professional record stands at 25 wins, 6 losses, 3 draws, and 1 no decision, with 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former IBF Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, introducing Argenis La Tormenta Mendez. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with silver trim, representing and fighting out of Crimea, Russia. He weighed in the same as his opponent, 139.5 pounds. With a record of 8 wins and 1 loss, he has 7 big wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making his Showtime debut, here is the former world title challenger and the WBA number 4 ranked super lightweight contender, introducing Batyr Akhmedov. Once again, our referee in charge. Now to give instructions, Brian Stutz.
All right, gentlemen, you had your instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourselves at all times. These are good. These are a little low, but they're fine. Touch them up. Let's have a good one.
Referee Brian Stutz with 30 years of professional experience. This is his 419th professional fight. Scheduled for 12 rounds in the 140-pound division, the bell. And round number 1, the southpaw Akhmedov in the black with silver trim trunks. Mendez in red with blue and white trim, both in their 30s, and yet Mendez has fought 243 rounds compared to only 51 for Akhmedov.
Mendez definitely a fighter that's been in there with all shapes, all colors. This guy knows it all, Mendez, but could be sloppy at times. Can take a fight, really make it difficult for the opponent.
Akhmedov has only had 1 round, less than 1 round of boxing in the last 21 months since that fight with Barrios. So for him, it's been a bit.
One real champion at 140 pounds. That is the undisputed Tartan Tornado, Josh Taylor. Akhmedov has been promised, based on the quality of his performance against Mario Barrios, that should he pass this test with flying colors, that he would be in line for another title opportunity. Mendez, of course, possesses all the guile and pride. So much experience.
Mendez is very economical. He only averages about 42 punches a round, and so far he's being economical. He's only thrown 4, so he's not rushing to throw a lot in this fight.
Akhmedov just threw his 15th, and he is connected with the lone punch. Well, now he's doubled his output, so a bit of a feeling out process here in the opening round. Again, being contested at 140 pounds. Akhmedov standing right in front of Mendez, pawing at with the jab, and Mendez doing the same. Under a minute left in the opening round.
And being that Mendez has gotten a lot of opportunity, has been there with many fighters, like we mentioned, great fighters, you would think that, you know, he would go out there and just try to prove something, but he's always so cautious, makes fights, you know, so, don't want to use the word boring, but, you know, he's just a really cautious fighter, Mendez.
Well, they like this matchup better than the Hitchens matchup because they want a fighter that will come to them. He's more naturally a counterpuncher. They're hoping he can counter effectively tonight.
And it's almost that because he doesn't throw much.
Akhmedov goes to the body with the left hand. Mendez continues to try to utilize the jab, gauging some distance, but again, very much concentrating on establishing the jab here in the first 3 minutes as Akhmedov went to the body and the counter punch from the counter puncher.
Okay, boys, forward here. We have 10 over 9. And the total
we'll take a look at the keys to victory for these two men. Akhmedov needs to be careful early because he's been dropped in early rounds in a couple of his fights. Body work is important for him. He wants to go downstairs. He's scored several knockdowns with body punches. And he's a pressure fighter, and you want to pressure an older fighter like Mendez all through the fight. For Mendez, counter effectively. He actually did that in round 1 in a couple of different spots. Akhmedov has been put down by left hooks a couple of times. He wants to use that punch. And you can't give rounds away. We've talked about how he sometimes goes into lulls. That will give rounds to Akhmedov.
The bell in round number 2. Mendez has been down 3 times against Robert Easter Jr. and twice against Ramses Barthelemy, and Akhmedov again went down both times in that disputed decision loss to Mario Barrios as Mendez begins round 2 by working the jab.
The Mendez jab in round 1 was kind of effective in spots. Here's where he doesn't want to be, on the ropes.
And that's exactly what Batyr wants. He wants to put Mendez on the ropes. He wants to pressure, make Mendez fight.
And although this is just Akhmedov's 10th professional fight as they work the body, he's already had 2 fights scheduled for 10 or 12 rounds, one of which went the full distance, and 2 fights scheduled for 10, one of which also went the full distance. So Akhmedov, as we mentioned, being put on the fast track, and here in another 12-rounder going to work on the body of Mendez, and Mendez returning fire.
Yeah, and in only his 5th fight, he was facing a former champion, Ismael Barroso, in a very tough fight. So you're right, the fast track is exactly where he's at, and at age 30, they want to keep him there.
Yeah, most impressive win to date was that 1-punch 9th round KO over Barroso. In fact, Barroso, and now it's Batyr Akhmedov. There's a cut, blood around the left eye, and has never been cut before. So again, as his career unfolds, facing another taste of adversity, and we'll see how he's able to navigate.
And we don't know if that came from a punch or a clash of heads. Obviously, a big difference if that's the case.
And with a southpaw and an orthodox fighter, what are the odds it was a clash of heads, Al?
Yeah, pretty good, I think.
Akhmedov doing a fantastic job of throwing combinations and turning right away.
Under a minute remaining here in the second, and Akhmedov with an uptick in his offensive output.
Akhmedov's body work in this fight has been excellent. The right hook to the body has been superb.
Let him go. Break. Step back. Watch that elbow.
Making that early investment, hoping to reap dividends as he tags Mendez with the jab and again digs away at the body with the left hand. Coming up on the final 30 seconds of the second stanza.
See that turn that Akhmedov doesn't give Mendez the opportunity to land the right hand. Simple step.
Mendez putting himself on the ropes, maybe trying to set some sort of a counterattack trap, but Akhmedov was the one who scored to the body.
Watch that elbow.
As we come to the end of round 2 here at State Farm Arena in Atlanta.
Okay, boys, we have round 2, 10 over 9, a total of 20 over 18. Okay, for Mike, round 2, 10 over 9, total 20 over 18.
You okay?
Ошибок не едино сильную руку. Он туда ждет, понимаешь? Закручивает. Как только контакт происходит, закручивает. Пока рефери не дал брейк, левой рукой прорабатывает. Понял?
Well, we believe that was a clash of heads that created the cut, and we believe we have captured it for you. And here we go again, the lefty-righty that Morrow mentioned, and there they bang heads on the inside, and that we believe created. And he's dabbing at it already is Akhmedov, so that was very likely where the cut was created.
Round number 3 scheduled for 12 in an important contest at 140 pounds. And mentioned the Barroso fight. He overcame adversity there, being knocked down for the first time in his career. Of course, was knocked down twice against Barrios. So both fighters have been on the deck 3 times in their career. And Akhmedov opening up on Mendez in the corner.
Now, we don't know if the officials have called that a clash of heads. We'll endeavor to find that out. That would obviously matter because they would, at a certain point, go to the scorecards if the cut would cause this fight to be stopped. Good body work by Mendez.
Yeah, and Mendez has a really good jab when he throws it.
Numbers indicate it's outstanding body work. 19-2 in terms of body shots landed. As Akhmedov going to the body, then putting together a combination that culminates with a shot upstairs, and Akhmedov all over Mendez here in the 3rd round.
Yeah, and even though Mendez had that one really good body shot, obviously Akhmedov with the numbers, and boy, he's just ripping the right hooks downstairs and keeping Mendez now on the ropes, which is exactly where he doesn't want to be.
Mendez really just looking for openings at this moment, but he's got to set it up with that jab. He's got to jab, wait for the head to make mistakes just like that.
Mendez with a combination, including a left hook that curled around the guard of Akhmedov.
In fact, in his last fight, Akhmedov caused 2 knockdowns with body shots, so he can take you down with those body shots as well.
He blasted out Filipino journeyman Ray Perez last September at 139 seconds. As we come up to the final 60 seconds of the 3rd, and Akhmedov continues to be industrious, continues to work the body. Mendez digs away at the body with a lead right uppercut.
There's that right hand from Mendez.
And another right hand to the body by Mendez before he eats that jab.
And whenever he wants to work, he works and he does it well. It's just Mendez takes he takes his time. And that's why sometimes he makes these fights so close.
And time continues to tick away and rounds continue to elapse. Akhmedov has almost doubled Mendez in terms of offensive output. Nice counter right to the body by Mendez. Nice lead left hook to the head by Mendez. So he's economical but effective.
Okay, we have round 3, 10 over 9. Total of 30
nice round
over
there.
27.
That's the way I want you to fight.
Copy that.
Was a nice round. Nice round. That's it. You want some water?
Mike, round 3, 10 over 9, total 30 over 27.
The body work by Mendez downstairs. We talked about the fact that while Akhmedov is doing more work to the body, Mendez is able to get punches occasionally down there. He's, you know, and that Akhmedov, you know, a good combination puncher and putting his punches together. The jab, the straight left hand, coming with the jab again. He's, you know, he's a busy fighter to be sure.
For both fighters, nearly 1/3 of their punches are body shots, and here we begin round 4 with Mendez pawing with his left hand, trying to disrupt Akhmedov.
Jim Gray has informed us that the referee said he did not see a clash of heads. So no clash, despite the fact that our replay indicates that it very likely was. He did not call it. So that means that if that cut would stop this fight, in theory, not in theory, Akhmedov would lose this fight.
If it ends in the next 2 minutes and 14 seconds, after 4 rounds, they go to the
No, well, they would not. No, because there was no clash of heads called.
Oh, you're right. If an Axel Fowler headbutt, correct.
Right.
So even I'm a little confused.
Well,
As a
that's
referee.
Yeah, so that's a big call in this fight because you know, it puts Akhmedov in more danger.
And Mendez doing a fantastic job in this round of using that jab.
Controlling the center of the ring.
Not letting Akhmedov get in as easy.
And some good defensive head movement. His reflexes at, well, he turns 35 next. Turns 35 July 3rd. So Mendez, again, with a lot more miles, as we've mentioned, a lot more experience, but utilizing some of that experience here in this fight, despite the fact that Akhmedov has landed 31 body shots compared to only 3.
You know, that step to the right that Akhmedov does is really effective. It allows him to run his right hook to both the body and the head, and also his straight left hand too. See now,
nice left hook to the head, where Mendez has done very well with those head shots.
And you know, Barrios was able to knock Akhmedov down with that left hook, and that is the punch for
and Mendez needs to continue to do that in order to stop Akhmedov from turning.
Final 45 seconds of the 4th. Another left hook lands for Mendez upstairs.
That's why it was in the keys to victory.
Watch that elbow.
You always get it right, huh?
No, not always.
Lead right hand that scores for Mendez. Akhmedov beginning to go upstairs, partially blocked.
It's been a good round, though. Interesting round, a better round for Mendez, and interesting for both men.
Very competitive round at number 4. Again, the lead left hook, another lead left hook, followed by a sweeping right by Mendez.
Well, we mentioned it was a very competitive round, and they went back and forth. The right hook from Akhmedov, very excellent. Now there you see him trying the left hook, Mendez, but he wouldn't give up on that punch. And now Mendez landing, this will be a nice straight right hand, and that was a beauty. You know, he's been mostly landing the left hook as his power option, but that was one of those cases where the right hand came in.
Right hand is working. That's what I want you to do. You're doing fine, but just keep throwing the right hand and move your head. You're an Olympic. Come on. Move your head. Let's go.
Back.
Round number 5, given the hype when Mendez turned pro, it's been a bit of an underachiever. Again, we mentioned he won a 130-pound belt with a knockout victory over Juan Carlos Salgado in their rematch back in 2013 after Mendez lost a debatable decision to Salgado in 2011. But, you know, it's around, well, he's under 500, 2-3-2 in his last 7, but against high-quality opposition.
Yeah, and you know, he did make it to a world title, but you're right, more was expected of him. And we see it even, this fight's kind of that in microcosm, isn't it? We see when he does good work, it's special.
Oh, straight left hand that scored for Akhmedov as he continues to turn.
And Mendez has a really well pedigree when it comes to amateur too. I remember him from the amateurs. We were in the same Olympic team in 2004. Obviously him representing the Dominican Republic. But I know him from back then. He's a really good fighter whenever he lets his hands go.
Again, puts himself into the corner, gets his head popped back with that stiff jab from Akhmedov. Lead right hook to the body by Akhmedov. Again, goes to the body with the right hook. Counter right down the middle by Mendez.
Great uppercut from Mendez.
2 left hooks to the body by Mendez. Great stuff here.
And again, you know, Mendez, as people talked about the fact that Akhmedov is coming to them, at least gives him a chance to do better offensively with his counterpunching.
Yes, making this an interesting fight because Akhmedov, you know, looking for a fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Great attempt for the counterpunch there from Mendez, which he should continue to do with the smaller guy.
Akhmedov smashes the jab into Mendez's face, but Mendez able to tag him upstairs. Now leaning in, utilizing his reflexes, going to the body with a left and a right. Double jab left hand from Akhmedov, but again, effective counter from Mendez.
Yes, Akhmedov being pressure there, being the pressure fighter, but Mendez being slick with the counter punching. Cleaner punches.
Rebirth of slick. He's cool like that. 40 seconds left here in the 5th.
Hey, don't tell anybody. This is turning into a good fight. Don't tell Mendez. He'll roll it.
Oh, and now Akhmedov unloading on Mendez, but Mendez again rolling with the shots, avoiding a lot of them, but Akhmedov still scoring to the body.
And that's well said, Mo. I mean, he missed a lot, and Mendez came back with a clean punch, but at the same time, Akhmedov landed great body shots.
And Mendez has thrown 63 punches in this round. He never throws 63 punches.
Luminaries in attendance include the Real Deal, Atlanta's own International Boxing Hall of Famer Evander Holyfield, the greatest cruiserweight ever, the only 4-time heavyweight champion, and he is taking in tonight's Fistic festivities at State Farm Arena in Atlanta. And yesterday, a statue of Evander Holyfield was unveiled here outside State Farm Arena, joined by Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. So the Real Deal, a real statue here in the ATL. Hotbed of sports here, Atlanta. We are in the home of the Hawks. They will play the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals, and you know we are showcasing the 140-pound weight division in our opening contest and in our main event. Arguably the greatest 140-pounder ever was nicknamed the Hawk, Aaron Pryor.
Yes, indeed. Obviously, these seats are going to be filled when we get closer to our main event. They sold a lot of tickets here, virtual sellout, and
again, Mendez puts himself in the corner.
Don't hit him on the back of the head. Don't hit him on the back of the head.
Akhmedov delivers a combination.
And Akhmedov is having trouble getting in. Why? Because he's not using the jab to get in. He's trying to turn first, and when he does, Mendez takes a step back, just as he did right there, and now he's out of range. He's got a jab before he turns.
That's a really good point.
Meanwhile, it's Mendez utilizing the jab, keeping Akhmedov at bay and scoring with a sharp jab through the guard.
There it is. And Mendez gives you the opportunity to get in.
Left hook again, scores for Mendez upstairs. The jab stopping Akhmedov momentarily in his tracks. A minute and a half left here in the 6th round.
Mendez wanted to train, was going to train with Barry Hunter, the fine trainer from Washington last fight. Oh, a little awkward action. He did not, that didn't work out, so he went back to Lee Beard, who's a British trainer. And then for this fight, he trained with Lee, and they trained in Manchester, England, and then came to the United States about a week before this fight. Nice jab there by Akhmedov. When he throws that punch, it's effective.
Under a minute left in the 6th. Mendez remains on the ropes and gets tagged by Akhmedov. Akhmedov beginning to dart in and out with the jab there, but doesn't follow it up. And again, Mendez finding a home for the lead left hook around the guard.
It's amazing about Mendez. He's way up from when he started at 130. Here he is at 140. And, you know, Akhmedov even stunned Barrios when he faced him. He's a good puncher. Mendez not really getting hurt by these big power punches. You know, God bless him. He
and almost appears a little comfortable along the ropes, to be honest, even though he's getting peppered with the jab there. But
yeah, it's really interesting.
I mean, he's taking shots, but he really hasn't taken a really solid punch from Akhmedov.
The big
just
one.
yet, yes.
7 of Akhmedov's 8 wins have come inside the distance. Final 5 seconds of the 6th. Akhmedov continues to be the busier of the two fighters. Earlier tonight here at State Farm Arena, the arrival of tonight's main event principals, Gervonta Tank Davis. It is home away from home here in the A. Has a residence here and has proven to be a bona fide ticket seller. Well over 15,000 expected to be in attendance here tonight for his 2nd fight in this arena. He won a secondary 135-pound title against Yuriorkis Gamboa the last time he was here. Meanwhile, Mario Barrios, he knows what tonight represents. An opportunity for him to break through, and he is receiving a nice round of applause as his visual appears on the screen here. Mario Barrios, a top 10 140-pounder, wants to prove to Gervonta Tank Davis that yes, size does matter. That's the main event. And this is round number 7 of a fight taking place in the same weight division, 140 pounds, as we begin the 2nd half of this 12-round affair.
You know, Akhmedov said he learned a lot from the fight with Barrios. He said, I started too late, I wasn't consistent with my pressure, and he's doing that tonight.
Scoring remotely is our unofficial scorer, Hall of Famer Steve Farhood. We welcome him in now with his unofficial scores at the midway point.
Well, Mo, dare I say I can add absolutely nothing of note to what Al and Abner have been saying, which is that when Mendez moves his hands, he does well, but he doesn't move his hands enough. And Akhmedov's body punches are carrying the day. I've given Akhmedov every round but 1.
Good to hear from Steve Farhood, scoring tonight's fights remotely as 1 minute is elapsed here in the 7, and there Mendez doubles up with the left hook.
And if one left hook is good, 2 is better. And against the lefty, the double left hook is a great weapon. And there, again, there's the hook by Mendez. He just needs to do more of it.
And again, Mendez finds himself along the ropes and leads with the left hook that scores upstairs, but eats a couple of jabs, and there's a left hand by Akhmedov.
Akhmedov getting a little bit more comfortable in the inside now.
When he seems to be, closing the distance now. Mid-range, would love to get inside closer. And Mendez, what do you make of Mendez laboring on the ropes like that and in the corner, Abner?
Well, Batyr was cautious in the first rounds, I think, from Mendez. Mendez was counterpunching great, but I think he's getting a little fatigued now, and Batyr now letting off his punches in the inside.
And now we know that Akhmedov, despite this being just his 10th professional fight, gets the engine running, takes a few rounds to get going, but really is strong in the second half of fights.
Yeah, that's his specialty, and he did start pretty quick in this one, so he knew that was a problem in a couple fights, especially in the Barrios fight. So he said, I learned from my mistakes.
And a good exchange here, good give and take by Akhmedov and Mendez in the 7th, as again Mendez backs himself into the corner. And now left uppercut and body work by Akhmedov, so Mendez needs to exit stage left.
But it's also the pressure from Batyr. Batyr's doing a great job of pressuring, closing the distance, and putting Mendez on the ropes.
He's allowing him to walk out now before going to the body again. And Akhmedov beginning to sit down on his shots.
And you know, Mendez just landed a big left hook. It just didn't push Akhmedov back.
And another clubbing left hook upstairs, and another left hook by Mendez. His calling card, the left hook to the head.
Okay, boys, round 7, we have 10 over 9. Total 69 over 64.
We see Mendez, unfortunately for him, backed into the corner again, trying to counterpunch out of there, and having a little bit of success. But for the most part, in that posture, it's been Akhmedov doing better work. Later on in the round, however, Mendez was able to land a really big shot. There's that left hook that came in, and there were about 3 or 4 of those excellent left hooks that landed against Akhmedov.
Round number 8 is upon us here in our opening encounter. Fans are back, and so are the round card girls, as we begin the 8th frame with the rugged and industrious southpaw Batyr Akhmedov against the experienced Mendez. And early we saw Mendez slickness able to offset Akhmedov's pressure a bit, but the pressure now beginning to get to him.
I like that description, rugged and industrious. That sounds like, you know, you're describing an athlete from Russia.
There we go. That's why I said it out.
Well, there's a reason
I gotta
for
keep
that.
up with the Hall of Famers here. Nice left uppercut, Mendez, and Akhmedov going to the body again.
You know, the last 6 fights from Mendez have gone the distance, so he often does, and, you know, he's teasing us that this one's headed to the distance as well.
Watch that elbow, watch that elbow.
And Akhmedov leaning in, backing Mendez to the ropes.
Well, Mendez already showing us that he could take a punch to the head, but Akhmedov doing a fantastic job of working the body. I mean, one can wonder if he could break him down before the 12th round.
54 connected body shots, according to show stats by Akhmedov. So, yeah, he's done good work down there.
Counter 1-2 from Mendez that didn't bother Akhmedov at all. And Akhmedov continues to be the busier operator, trying to break down the veteran, former 130-pound belt holder. Eats that straight left, and another straight left scores for Akhmedov. And there, Mendez showcasing some of his speed and some of his crisp counterattack, but it's very sporadic after.
Yeah, I mean, he picks his moments, but again, you know, he's not as busy as he should be. Speaking of Mendez, Akhmedov, again, just working volume really well.
Mendez has plenty of experience against lefties. Among them, he's fought Ivan Redcatch, Luke Campbell. He put Luke Campbell down even in losing a decision to him. He understands what it is to be in there against lefties, and sometimes he does well.
And the body language now from Mendez is, it almost seemed like he's getting tired. So.
And again, even in here in round 8, almost 2-1 in terms of punches thrown for Akhmedov, who hits the jab. There's a right hook to the body. Mendez misses upstairs as Akhmedov ducked underneath that sweeping left hook. There's the double jab, the left hand. So Akhmedov continues to be busier, putting the pressure on Mendez.
A lot more comfortable now, knowing that Mendez is not gonna counter punch as much.
We are through 8 in the A. And it looks like this fight is over, guys.
Well, maybe, as Abner said, maybe the body work ultimately got to Mendez and was just too much for him to deal with.
Yeah, the body language from Mendez was definitely of a fatigued, tired fighter, but never did I think he was not going to come out. Indicating that he might have hurt his right hand.
It will go into the books as a victory for Batyr Akhmedov, who improves to 9-1 with 8 wins now before the final bell. So the smiling Akhmedov.
He is a delightful addition to the 140-pound division, and here's why. Look at how active he is when he fights and how effective. Landing 37% of his power punches, 57 body shots. That was key. He attacked the body extremely well. And you know, he did enough with the jab, throwing 180 and landing enough to help set up those power punches to the body. And Mendez just didn't do enough in terms of numbers of punches thrown, but landed 38% of his power punches, which is everything other than the jab. That's really a good number, but he just didn't do it enough.
Falls to 4-2 in his last 8 fights. Again, Mendez turning 35 on July 3rd. Capitulates in this contest here. Akhmedov, the 8th child of his family, married with 3 kids. His wife and children live in Crimea, Russia, wanting to provide a better life, and turned in a impressive performance in breaking down and forcing Argenis Mendez to say no mas.
Keeps himself in the running for top fights in the 140-pound division.
Well, he'll be watching the main event with vested interest. He would love another crack at Mario Barrios, who will welcome Gervonta Tank Davis to 140 in our feature attraction. Let's make it official. Here's Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has been stopped at the end of round number 8. A referee in charge, Brian Stutz, stops the contest due to an injury and request from the corner. He is the winner by way of technical knockout, the winner of the WBA Super Lightweight World Title Eliminator, Batyr Shark Akhmedov.
So, Batyr Akhmedov records the victory in Abner. It was due to an injury to Argenis Mendez, so he did not surrender for the simple sake of capitulating. It was an injury that forced him to withdraw. All right, let's listen to the corner with the assistance of our Felix De Jesus interpreting. Let's go to the Mendez corner.
That's it. That's it. No more. What's going on? What's going on? I can't anymore. I can't anymore. Is that it? No, I can't go another round. That's it. That's it. Let's stop it. Let's stop the fight. Come on. I can't. My right hand is hurting. Yeah, I can't go anymore. That's it. It's over. It's okay. Can you go? Can you go? It's the hand. It's the hand. I can't go.
As Batyr Akhmedov makes the victory walk back to his dressing room, let's take a look at the official scores at the time of the stoppage. All 3 judges had Akhmedov ahead.